Happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea. Hey gang, happy Sunday. There is indeed nothing like a hot cup of tea, and I have got nothing like a hot cup of tea. I don't know what happened. I'm really obsessive about making sure that tea is, I like it piping hot and really gorgeous, and like so you have to sip it, and today it is lukewarm at best. So let's all have a word with Luke, shall we? Find out why he's only warm at best. Happy Sunday, welcome. It's Sunday Elevenses live with me, Jez Rose. It's live, and it's me, Jez Rose, which means literally anything could happen, and it probably will. So I am away from the buttons this week after last week's absolute debacle. I have decided to not do buttons, so you might hear clicking. I haven't had enough time this week to sort some things out. So hello Mark, hello Lucy, hello Carol, hello Stephen. It's super lovely to see you all. And this week I am flying by the seat of my little panties because I have decided I'm going to share with you a couple of nice plants. Sarah, hello, good to see you. Because lots of you email me during the week or you send me messages on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram at that Jez Rose, you absolutely should. To ask me questions about houseplants and planting. There is a ton of houseplant videos coming on YouTube very, very soon. I spent last week, a couple of days ago, whenever, not entirely sure what's going on in my life right now with time perception, at the most amazing plant shop in Bath. I've been collecting houseplants for almost 10 years, I guess, maybe a bit longer than that unofficially, but like a very addicted addict for about 5 years, I suppose. Hello, Kath. Look, Kath's back, everybody. Everybody calm down. Calm down. Kath's back. Well, being busy okay, because you can catch up on them. That's what I like. Even if there's only 2 people watching, I don't mind, because then when I look at the figures, it's anywhere between 75 and 500 people that watch afterwards, so I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm not here for my own sense of gratification. Don't you worry. I'm here because I'm the only person that will listen to me very often. Hey Michelle, good to see you. So I thought I'd share with you some of my new houseplants and also a little bit of some repotting as well. It's not necessarily a plant episode because I have got tea, but I have also got, I'm celebrating, I forgot the little sleeve. We had these lovely little sleeves printed. It's in the kitchen, can't get it, can't be bothered. That say celebrate 20 years with me because it is my 20th anniversary this year of my first ever professional engagement as a speaker slash TV presenter, because it happened at the same time, I think. Not the same time, it wasn't the same job, but so I got the amazing Kate at Gower Cottage who makes these Gower Cottage brownies, which are the best brownies. I think I've had them before on Elevenses. Any excuse. So I thought, oh, I know, the business should buy brownies for people. And obviously I needed to have them shipped to me to check that Kate had put the sleeve on correctly, etc., etc. So today I've got a brownie with my plant special. And you should never have a brownie plant. That's brown plants or unhappy plants, broadly speaking. So this is my little Elevenses treat today, and it is a treat because, you know, oh gang, oh, come on now. It's not going to do my waistline any good if I chow through a whole box of these, but excuse me if every now and again I have a little moment to myself. This is going to ruin it. Lukewarm, grim. Okay, Stephen says he's going to confess to something, and that's what I love about Sunday Elevenses is we're a team, aren't we, gang? It's like a confessional. You can say anything you want in this safe space, and no one's going to judge you. Stephen says, "Can I confess something?" Stephen, you absolutely can. I love plants. So do I, Stephen. I think a lot of people that join me on Sunday Elevenses, it attracts like people. There are some people who don't like everything we talk about, and that's okay. He loves gardening. So do I, Stephen. I think a lot of people here at Sunday Elevenses love gardening. Not everybody, and that's okay, because we don't mind if we think about different things, if we don't like separate things. We don't even mind if we're not all liking the same thing at the same time, or if we have different views. This is a safe space. We all love each other because we're humans, and that's part of I think how the world would be a better place. But there's a but. There's always a but when you confess something. I'm really not a fan of houseplants. I sort of feel this might turn into a therapy session. But oh my God, love Gale Cottage brownies. Absolutely. Okay, so there's a sort of a redemption, I suppose, to an extent. However, I'm really unsure why you don't like houseplants. Now, one of the things I am going to do is I'm going to do a whole series of videos on houseplant styling, because I didn't know that I was very good at that. I just put stuff where I think it looks good. And everybody who comes to this house, so we have a lot of people who don't know us that come to the house for various different reasons, picking stuff up, collecting orders, blah, blah, blah. And they all say, oh my gosh, what do you guys do? Or what does your other half do? Are they an interior designer? And I'm like, no, like, why? I don't think we have like an interiorly designed house. It's just comfortable in the stuff that I like. And they always say, but the way that you've got the plants, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. So I am going to convince you, Stephen, that there is a way to love houseplants and make them transform your, we're looking at moving house, and one of the things I'm not really bothered about, because we'll probably rent for a little bit, is just a blank canvas. Because if you put a nice big rug in the middle of the room and put some houseplants around, it instantaneously changes the feel of the house. And I know that because only yesterday I was reminded by this when I was potting some stuff up and changing some pots and switching things around a little bit. I took loads of the plants out and immediately the room looked bigger but also barer. Plants add a sort of texture and stuff as well. So there's that. Kath says, my friends all say I have green fingers based on my veg gardening mainly, but I'm disaster with houseplants. So many people aren't good with houseplants. I'm going to come to that as well. Thanks, Carol, for the congratulations. So Stephen says, as you may know, I love pelargoniums. Is this a thing? Is there like a thing I don't know about where people are saying, oh, Stephen, make sure you get pelargoniums into the Sunday Elevenses? Like every week there's a mention of pelargoniums. I'm going to ban the word. So there'll be some settings somewhere where I can stop people in the chat saying certain words. I'm going to use pelargonium as like a safety word. Not a safety word, but maybe it is your safety word. I don't know. But even it doesn't even have pelargoniums in the house. Instead, I'm trying to cite an old commercial greenhouse to house them all instead. Boo, Stephen. Boo. Carol's right. Carol's always... What I love about Carol, she's always the voice of reason. She'll always kind of pick you up from the edge as you teeter either into some career disaster or saying something inappropriate, and just pick you up and go, I think you'll find you need to be over there. And she's right. A greenhouse is half inside. Anyway. Anyway, there's a gosh, it's cracked off now. Look at all this. Plastic houseplants. Oh my gosh. Stephen's got plastic houseplants. Oh, wow. Okay, no. Right, we're moving on. So, Mark has said, you're going to tip me over the edge, gang. This is supposed to be a safe space. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Mealybug infestation. The ladybirds didn't work, but I didn't think they would because the plants are too close to the door and the door's being opened and shut all the time because of the dog. So Mealybug came back with a vengeance. So yesterday I spent a ton of time taking individual plants out, wiping off all of the mealybugs, and then dousing them with a special spray. So you probably know that most houseplants are from tropical climates, right? So they're from warm weather places. That's why they like being indoors. Almost all houseplants that are indoors, indoor plants, houseplants, pot plants, you can't say pot plants in America, but just for indoor plants. If you put them outside, they would grow absolutely fine in warmer climates. Not so much so in England or temperate climates. So they love being misted because, of course, the water residue and the droplets of water is absorbed by the leaves, but also it protects them from the dry humidity. So one of the really clever things is, I've just seen in the chat, Lucy said, if you're going to have houseplants, they might as well be real. Absolutely. Get some cactus, easy to look after. They are. Cactus and spider plants you'd think would be easy. A friend of mine confessed that she'd managed to kill both. How do you kill a spider plant? I mean, what were you doing with it? Like, did you drag it around your car when you were driving around to work or something? Or I just don't understand that. You can flood a spider plant and go, whoa, gosh, that's a lot of water. Fine, I'll eat it all up. And you can forget about the spider plant and be there going, oh, it's a little dry in here. I'm still going to give you some new babies, but oh, it's a little dry. They're like the hardest thing to kill, but she managed to do both. Anyway, so in your spray bottle, get yourself a spray bottle. Stephen Monks is feeling outside of the circle of trust this morning. Yes, well, Stephen, I think it is safe to say you placed yourself outside of the circle of trust. And I think it's just going to take us time to get over it. That's all. You know, we all change, and it's okay that we change. Sometimes we don't like the same things all the time. Sometimes we decide that actually we've got to go with what our heart is telling us to do. And that might be that, you know, you come back next week and you're a Stephanie, not a Stephen. And that's okay. You'd still be, you know, part of our little circle. But to say that you have plastic houseplants, it's just going to take us a while to get used to it. That's all. We just got to get over it. And you need to be patient, I think, with the rest of us. All right? So, okay. So, what you need to do is get yourself some warm water. Not boiling water, not hot water, but just like tepid warm water. Run the hot tap as soon as it starts to feel not cold. That's ideal. Put it in your spray bottle and get yourself some organic neem oil. And you pop about 5 ml of neem oil in. I'm going to be really honest, I just glug it in, so mine's probably quite concentrated, but I sort of put in what is, I suppose, about 10, maybe 15 ml in a, what would that be, a 500 ml maybe bottle? So you're looking for about 5% concentration, but honestly, don't worry about it. And then a tiny, tiny squiz of, which is an accurate measurement, as you all know, if you've ever baked with me, a squiz of washing up liquid, just which helps sort of break down the oil into the water. And then you give it a good shake, and then you use that as your mister. Now, the thing about neem oil is mealybugs hate it, and it helps deter them as well as kill them. So you need to still go in and get rid of your mealybug if you see it. And there's a whole video on that, and that's coming up as well. But neem oil is great. So if you're using a mister, don't just mist with water because it's sort of a waste. Anyway, this is gorgeous. So I was in Botanica Studio. If you're ever in Bath, Botanica Studio is, I'll leave the little tag in so we can plug them a little bit, is utterly glorious because not only have they got gorgeous houseplants, but check out these flipping pots. This is a new terracotta pot. Is it terracotta? It sort of feels stoneware. No, I think it is terracotta. Made in Italy. And they weren't super, like, I think this was £12 or something. Which I think, for the pot and the saucer, I think is a really great deal because they're stunning. It's so textural and tactile. And this is a Hoya. And it's really interesting because I was talking to the lady who owns the shop, and Hoyas are so, like, disregarded now. People have forgotten about them. I guess they're a bit like spider plants, you know. Your gran probably had one and everybody now thinks they're out of date. But Hoyas are stunning, and it flowers as well, and they'll trail and whatever. So I love the variegation of Hoyas and the slightly waxy leaves, and they're bright, but also they're so easy to look after that they don't need, I mean, all plants love light. They don't need loads of light. So Hoya, really, really great, cool. And look at the colours as well. How can you not like that, Stephen? In fact, that sort of, I'm looking at it on the camera, it kind of looks plastic, right? So there you go. So that's that. And then check out this guy, this ficus. Oh, I mean, couldn't you just eat it? It is utterly, utterly gorgeous. From the fig family, hence ficus. But it is this, in fact, I forget what this one is. This is, oh, lyrata, of course it is. And it's not a small plant, and it's not new either, but it is utterly, 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 utterly glorious. And it normally sits over there, but I put it today so you can see it. I just love it. I think it's really lovely. Is it time for more brownie, did somebody say? Absolutely. If you could imagine. Oh. If you could imagine. Very, 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 very cute little mouse. The little ones, the tiny little ones that don't scare you, they're just really, really cute. With big, glassy, wet black eyes, wrapped up in a very, very fine little silk dressing gown. Rolling around in your mouth, singing your favourite song. That is the experience. That is what a Gower Cottage brownie does. It is It's something else. Anyway, Sarah says she just bought herself my first 3 houseplants. Woo! Welcome to the family, Sarah. It's like tattoos. They are addictive. Haven't a clue what they are. Doesn't matter, but they make me happy. Absolutely fine. I've got a friend who knows all houseplants or all plants by their Latin names. Infuriating, but doesn't know what the common names are, and I don't think it really matters. You buy it because you like the look of it, don't you? That's it. You don't buy it because it's a Hoya or because it's a philodendron or something like that. Philodendron's my absolute favourite, by the way. And this ficus I think is stunning. Do you like it? Do you like my ficus? Check out my ficus, gang. Do you like my ficus or not? Stephen said he'd be happy to advise on how to overwinter them, but dare not mention them anymore today, so don't want to upset me. Yeah, well, I just think, again, patience. You know, we're just a little too needy in the chat today, I think, Stephen. I think we've overshared is where we've got to, haven't we, Stephen? We've overshared that we're a plastic plant buyer. But listen, I hope you have a lovely day today, Stephen. It is glorious outside. You can roll around on your plastic grass as much as you want. Maybe go and sweep it or something. Maybe Stephen's going to be hoovering his plastic. Other sucking vacuum cleaners are available, of course. Anyway, Carol, that was a joke. It would appear a large number of plants came home from Bath. No. So what was Carol's question? Hang on, wait. Let me see. Carol agrees. HR. Oh, did you say you're moving after the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears? Yes. And a little earlier than possibly planned. So there are lots of plants being sold. Pretty much all of my plant collection is going to have to be sold, and then I'll regather it when we move. But Bath, I've no self-control, Carol. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's the problem is they have such an amazing variety. It's such an amazing. It's like shoes, isn't it? Some of you must surely like shoes, right? Mark says maybe Stephen could tend some houseplants while eating a brownie. It's like aversion therapy in reverse. Well, it's not aversion therapy in reverse. I suppose it's positive reinforcement, isn't it? So that Stephen can get used to the. Should we have a little mouse rumble again? There he goes. Oh, there he goes. Woo! Happy. So then let me just quickly show you this, because I also did a tiny bit of repotting, because this Mantura, I feel like somebody in HR or finance or something wheeling around in there thingy. Anyway, so here it is. This is my Mantua. It's a little bit worse for a little bit sorry, because I sort of neglected him in my study a little bit. He needed to be in a slightly bigger pot, and he also needed some spraying as well. So you can see his leaves look a little dry, a little dull in colour. So he definitely needs a little bit more of a spray as well. But what I love about Mantua is they climb or trail. If you give them something to climb on, they'll keep going and going and going. But they just keep firing off these little leaves, and they sort of all rolled up like that, and then they unroll, and you get new leaves. Absolutely super gorgeous. So I've repotted it, and instantly, I probably should have done it before and after. Before it was in a kind of black and concrete pot, which is fine. But instantly, this looks so much better, because you've got the contrast of this, stone earthenware pot with the bright colours of the greens and the pinks in there and the variegated leaves, and it just pops. So what's really nice about repotting stuff is you just sort of mix things up a little bit. You can decide, actually, you can take the same plant, and remember, of course, you can repot plants. You can put them in bigger pots as well, and you get a whole different kind of look for it. So this has sort of turned into a plant special, isn't it? Stephen says you can order some brownies. I don't blame you. Get the mouse flavoured ones. They're delicious. I know it'll go. Anyway, gang, so spring is here. Carol says, are you going to the USA? That is the plan. But the joy is it doesn't affect us. I'll be here at least once a month. Cold tea. Oh, is there anything worse? Oh, it's like being spat on in the street, isn't it? Oh. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, so so the plan is currently at the minute to Gosh, this is all very early. I'm probably oversharing far too early. It's a very broad plan that isn't confirmed, is very much in the air. So let's take the, let's use the term plan very, very, very literally, because it requires an awful lot of approval and other things as well. The plan is to move to the US. I'll still be working here and in Europe and everywhere else that I'm doing all that kind of jazz. Woody will be coming with us, absolutely. And to open a plant shop in to sort of do what we were doing before at the farm, but maybe in the US. Obviously, I will still continue doing broadcast and other stuff as well. So that, but that later, like we're a year yet. So, Kath says, how do you get the plant out of a rounded pot like that when time to repot? Oh, good questions, Kath. This has turned into Sunday Elevenses live with Jez's planting place. Something. What is this? I have something to confess. I'm not a fan of the USA. That's okay. You don't have to be a fan of the USA. I think it's a little bit like saying I'm not a fan of chocolate, or I'm not a fan of honey, or I'm not a fan of wine. There are so many different types of wine, honey, chocolate, etc. I think it's impossible to say you're not a fan of the US because there are 52 states, 53 states in America. And honestly, I've traveled a lot and worked through and traveled a lot in the US. And every state is like a different country in terms of its people, its social construct, its politics, it's everything. So I think it'd be difficult to say you don't like the USA. It's a bit like, somebody coming... oh God, I'm going to be really careful. It's a bit like somebody from America coming here and visiting Slough and saying, oh, I don't like England. It's a bit unfair, isn't it? Anyway, 11s won't be for me. No, that's absolutely right. 11s will be, I'll be on the East Coast, so we would be 5 hours behind. So it would be very early in the morning. I've not thought this through. I just went, stop asking questions. It's like a year away. My Monstera doesn't look as lovely as yours, Jez. Well, that depends on where you're looking, because I don't have a Monstera in this room. So that might not be why it doesn't look as lovely as mine. I have got a huge Monstera in the kitchen, and also a tiny Monstera in the kitchen as well. So let me just go back to Kath's question. How do you get the plant out of a rounded pot like that? I didn't get it out of a pot like this. I've repotted it into a pot like this. But remember that unless it's super, super pot bound, you're going to use a horry or some sort of blunt knife to loosen the edges and cut, straight down so you can lift the plant out. Getting things out of rounded pots is very simple if they're not big. I mean, I bought, I don't know, trying to think now, maybe 5 or 6 huge pots. I mean, 1.5 meters in diameter here from the farm in rounded pots. And they were hard to get out. I had to dig massive holes and kind of try and tip them into the hole to get the perpetual motion to help them out. But smaller things is easy. Just turn them upside down, give them a kind of pat and a shuffle, get your fingers in there and help twist the root ball out. It doesn't matter if you damage some of the very, very end roots, as long as you repot it well. And for houseplants, you can repot literally any time of the year. It really doesn't matter. This one here is a Mantera, not Monstera. This is a Mantera. And there are a bit like, oh God, I can't get bloody pelargoniums out of my head. Stephen, see what you do. You're like a little pelargonium worm. What's my favourite plant, gang? Philodendron, thanks. A bit like philodendron, you get tons of different variegation. I mean, look at that one. This has got hardly any pink on it at all at the minute. And then when it develops, you get this gorgeous, bright pinkness on these veins like that. And the pink underside as well. So sort of horses for courses. I've got another Mantera that doesn't look anything like that, actually. I mean, they all sort of have similar properties. So, yeah. So, find a really nice pot that I think complements the shape of the leaves. So this is rounded and this is rounded. Otherwise, it kind of jars, I think. And then a complementing colour. This one here, this is a gorgeous philodendron here that is really, really bright, sort of lime green, and I think the contrast against the zinc pot is really nice as well. So, but you know, equally, it probably could have gone in that one. You can see the sort of contrast there as well. So let's pop him back over there. Oh gosh, it's all kicked off. I've dropped a picture frame down the back of the desk. Doesn't matter. So that's that. You can do it sort of any time you want, really. Obviously, there is a growing season and a not growing season. They do go through a growing season, so repotting in the winter probably is slightly better, but it really doesn't matter because you're restricting their growth anyway. Yeah, and if it's round out of a pot bound bit, just think about where the main root ball is, and I don't know, a centimetre or so away from the edge of the pot, just sort of slice round and loosen the soil. Just be patient and keep loosening it, keep loosening it, keep loosening it, and you'll get there eventually. It will come out. Just be nice and gentle with it. Anyway, so it's spring. Spring has sprung. There are bazillions of dandelion everywhere, and I flipping cannot wait. Isn't it just utterly glorious? It's just so nice, isn't it, to have no rain. Well, actually, there's me saying that. It does appear that where we are in Lincolnshire is like a little pocket in itself. It's like a little microclimate. Because yesterday we had no rain, lovely blue skies, quite warm. I've been walking Woody with a t-shirt and just a gilet on, or a gillet, or a body warmer. I want to be inclusive here before that will all kick off on the chat. I can see it coming. Yes, so I was telling my friend or my dad, and they'd just had consistent rain all day. It was overcast. It wasn't very nice. But I love the blossom. I love the leaves. I love how the countryside changes. Like if you're driving around and suddenly it's not all brown or all grey, or grey, why would it be grey? All green, but you get a punctuation. It looks different because you've got this contrast with oilseed rape or different crops or greener, sort of lusher areas. And then when it rains, oh my gosh, the springtime when it rains, I just love it. I'm sorry that it's wet and grey where you are, Mark, but with wet and grey, with wet and grey comes very nice weather. With wet and grey comes nice weather afterwards. And there's just something lovely about it looking lush as well. So anyway, beautiful blue skies here. I'm going to take Woody for a walk very shortly. Going to go meet up with some Woody friends and go and see if we can find some bluebells. I wonder if we might be a little bit early for bluebells, but we'll see. I'm just going to pop one of these in here. Well, the little mouse has done his job. I feel wonderful today. Has anybody here cut their lawn yet? Has anybody mown their lawn? I love that. That first mowed lawn. It smells great and suddenly looks... Oh, I didn't check my ear. Do you know what I did yesterday? No, today. No, yesterday. What does it matter? Don't you hate it when people do that? On Wednesday, and then they go, oh no, and they get halfway through a sentence, they go, no it wasn't. No, it was Tuesday, and then they tell you the whole thing all over again. They go, no, do you know what? It must have been Wednesday. And you're like, it doesn't matter. Tell me the bloody thing. So, whenever... I had a little sort of dry bit on my ear, and I thought, oh, that's very strange. I wonder what that is. My ears aren't pierced. And I thought, I'll a little scratch, and that's nothing. And I thought maybe it's something, like a bit of dry skin, or I don't know. If we've got a 9-month-old puppy, it could be anything. He's like forever like, oh, have a bit of that, and you're like, oh, thanks very much. So I scratched it, and I think it was a bit of sort of dry skin, but still stuck to my ear. So it came off, and the searing pain. There was no blood or anything, but it's really sore. So I put a big load of double base, that big, thick, gloopy, highly moisturising cream on it this morning. So I had this big white ear like that, because I thought I'd just let that blend in. And I just thought about it, because it was a little bit sore, and I thought, oh gosh, have I just done like an hour with a great white ear? No doubt you absolutely would have asked a question and asked me what it was about, so clearly not. Anyway, well, I'm glad... wild garlic. Oh my gosh, yes, Lucy. So yesterday, or the day before, we took Woody for a new walk. I'd never been to these woods before. Tons of wild garlic before it flowers, and I was going to bring a little bit. There was so much there. I was going to bring some back. I cannot wait. I love doing that. Gosh, if you've got some wild garlic near you, go and get some wild garlic. chuck it in a blender. You need a good bunch, like a good handful. Chuck it in a blender, toast some pine nuts, just very, very gently on an open, dry pan. Chuck those in, like a handful of pine nuts. Grate a handful of Parmesan, or the better one is Pecorino Romano. Glug of olive oil, need quite a bit, and a bit of salt and pepper. Whiz it up. It is the most incredible pesto you'll ever have in your life. It's so, so simple. Anyway, Stephen, what have we said? What have we said about, you know, we're going to require an intervention, and I don't want to end Sunday Elevenses on the need for an intervention. All right, gang. Ladies, gentlemen, he, she, them, they. I love you all very much. Thanks for joining me. This was a lovely little session, wasn't it? Isn't it? It's terrible how quick it goes, isn't it? Oh, Michelle's got wild garlic in her garden. What a lovely way to end this. So we can all go around Michelle's, have a little pick, and there'll be no vampires there, so we'll all feel very safe indeed. Whatever you're up to today, be very kind to yourself and do something that makes you feel happy today. Maybe, I don't know, dust a plastic plant, Stephen. Or for the rest of you, it might be potting something or going for a little walk. Whatever you do, do something that makes you happy, and don't feel entirely selfish about that, because, you know, we only get one life and it's ours. I'll see you all, I believe, next week. Love you lots. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, God, I only have one button to press. How difficult can it be? See ya. Hey, happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea